It's your girl Tech Job Tina signing in for another episode. On today's episode, I want to talk to you about a new trending term that has come out. Now, we've all heard the term quiet quitting, right? It was a lot of buzz about it a year, 2 years ago, especially amongst the Gen Z and the millennial generations. But now there's a newer term out there. That term is called quiet vacationing. Nowadays, we have a new trend where people are not even requesting vacation, they are quietly vacationing instead. So, I want to read this article that I found on NBC, and we're going to get into it and see what that is all about and why that has become a trend. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's go. All right, so this article released a few days ago by NBC titled Millennials Are Quiet Vacationing Rather Than Asking Their Boss for PTO. There's a giant workaround culture. So when I saw that title, I instantly began to think about why that is, right? So think about that a second. Why would somebody quiet vacation as opposed to actually requesting the time off, right? So the first thing that came to mind is, especially when I think in terms of even my own personal self, when I'm wanting to take time off, or when you're wanting to take time off, how many times have you felt the pressure or have you felt stress around wanting to ask for time off, right? It's almost like you feel some type of way about asking for the time off, but it's your time to take, right? So why is it that we are made to feel some type of way when we want to take off days from work, right? So let's get into the article because that's exactly the direction they went in. Okay, so I'm going to read this article to you. It says paid days off from work aren't a guarantee for many Americans, but even when they do get them, they're leaving them on the table. A majority, 78% of US workers say they don't take all their PTO days, and it's highest among Gen Z workers and millennials, according to a new Harris Poll survey of 1,170 American workers. It says younger professionals say they don't ask for time off because they feel pressure to meet deadlines and be productive, and they get nervous requesting PTO because they don't want to look like a slacker, says Libby Rodney, Chief Strategy Officer at the Harris Poll. That's not to say they're not taking breaks, they're just not telling their boss. Millennials are most likely to be quiet vacationing. Millennials, in particular, have found workarounds to play hooky. Nearly 4 in 10 say they've taken off without communicating it to their manager. Similar shares say they move their mouse to show they're still active on their company messaging platforms like Slack or Microsoft Teams when they're not really working. And they schedule the message to send outside of regular hours to give the impression they're working overtime. There's a giant workaround culture at play, Rodney says. While Gen Zers tend to be more vocal about workplaces that shame people for wanting to ask off work, millennials would rather take matters into their own hands but under the radar. It says they will figure out how to get appropriate work-life balance, but it's happening behind the scenes, Rodney adds. It's not exactly quiet quitting, but more like quiet vacationing. Then it goes on to talk about the pitfalls of unlimited PTO, which in the tech industry, unlimited PTO is a thing, right? I had never even heard of unlimited PTO until I broke into tech, right? But one of the things I noticed about unlimited PTO, people who are not used to it, when you hear it for the first time, you would think that people will just take off days all the time. Anytime they felt like they wanted a day off, they just take it and run with it. You would think that people would just go overboard with the unlimited PTO perk. But just the opposite is actually true. People take less days off when they have an unlimited option to do so, right? So it's a little bit of a psychology thing happening there, right? You get unlimited PTO in tech, but you don't really take the true advantage of it. You really don't use it like you probably even should, right? So let's continue the article. When people feel the need to sneak out for breaks, it's a sign that their workplace doesn't have a supportive PTO system or culture in place, Rodney says. Bosses can alleviate that tension in a number of ways, she adds. They can be more transparent about what requesting time off looks like, normalize taking PTO by taking time as a boss, support when their employees take off, and mandate a certain amount of time off. Now, I've seen some companies have these perks where they have like summer Fridays over the summer. They're just closed on Friday, right? Everybody's off on Fridays over the summer. I've seen some companies where when it's like Christmas holidays, they'll take the last week or sometimes the last 2 weeks off of the year and the company just closes down so people can have that time off. I've also seen companies give their employees a like 30-day or more sabbatical after they've been with the company for so long, right? So there's lots of different perks out there that are created to give you the necessary time away from work. And I think that's pretty dope, right? So let's get back into it. Unlimited PTO isn't necessarily the solution. Workers who receive 11 to 15 days of PTO each year are more likely to use up their days, Rodney says. But there's a significant drop off once people get 16 or more days. Instead, employers can get creative in their PTO benefits, like offering a company wide week long shutdown around major holidays, paying new hires to take a vacation before they start, or requiring employees to take a certain number of PTO days each quarter to pace their time off throughout the year. More broadly, many Americans from the Harris Poll survey say the U.S. should adopt laws common in Europe that enforce boundaries on working hours versus personal time, like extended vacation policies, think a month off is August, or longer lunch breaks, work weeks shorter than 40 hours, and regulations that protect slower response time outside of work hours. So I definitely can understand where that is coming from, why people are quiet vacationing. As they said in the article, is the pressure that they feel coming down from them from management or supervisors or whatever, making them feel like they have to be there, right? So it's very disheartening, man. We have become a society that wears a badge of honor for working ourselves to death, right? A badge of honor for working a 12-hour day, a 16-hour day, an 80-hour week, right? And it's almost like a silent frown upon when you want to take your time off. You want to take a week off. Hell, you want to take 2 weeks off, whatever it is, right? You're definitely kind of made to feel guilty about it. And I don't think that is fair, right? I'm very interested to hear what you guys think about that. Put your comments down below. So now I want to pivot into the next piece of content that we're going to get into. This content was actually something that was released by one of my Course Careers cousins. Now, for those of you that have been watching my content, you know that I am a Course Careers alumni. It is the reason why I am in tech sales today. And ever since I joined Course Careers and I realized how big of a community they have and how much like family they are, I began to affectionately refer to the Course Careers students and the alumni as my Course Careers cousins. Okay. So, with that said, one of my Course Careers cousins recently released a video on his YouTube channel where he was talking about something, well, a question that he was getting from his coaching clients. And he was getting this question a lot. So it prompted him to do a video on it. The question from his client was, what happened to all the day in a life tech videos that used to be floating around YouTube, right? And that's actually a really good question because when you think about it, yeah, those videos have really died down. You don't see as much of those videos as you used to, say, 2 years ago. And that was all you would see. And every video would be typically about the same thing, right? Always get this guy or this girl. They start off at the butt crack of dawn. They wake up in the morning. They go to their fancy gym. They have a great workout. Then they come home and get dressed for work. They grab their MacBook and they skip to work, right? Why? Because they can just walk straight to work, right? So they skip to work and they key card themselves into this big old fancy building. They find somewhere to sit. They type on for a few hours, and then it's lunchtime, right? They go to lunch at a company provided lunch, which is free. So you got this fancy lunch with all this avocado toast and all of that, right? After lunch, they go right back and they work for a couple more hours. Oh, it's the end of the day. So at the end of the day, what do? They get with their friends and they have a vainglorious night out in the city and they rinse and repeat, right? That's pretty much how every one of those videos went, right? But he's right. You don't see those that much anymore. So I'm going to get into this content.
Number one question I get from the people that I'm coaching up or who are trying to get into tech or are in tech, right? It was a pretty concerning question. It was weird to me, I should say. They asked, what happened to all the day in the life videos I used to see on social media? And that's not something I really think about that, because I do my own, I'm in my own lane, right? I'm not really concerned for others, but I can see how someone can be concerned as they're trying to get in this field and seeing different things. But listen, I'm gonna tell you the real truth, right? But before I get into that, guys, hit that bell icon, hit that subscribe, because you guys know, as usual, I drop nothing but heat here, talk about tech on this channel.
Yeah, head on over to Wealth Arena's channel. I'll drop the link to this particular video in the description and in the comments. Head over there, like, subscribe to his stuff. Let him know Tech Job Tina sent you.
Guys, but let me get into what I've been noticing, right? First things first, I did my own research and I looked into it, right? There was a lot of day in the life videos during COVID, primarily. They were like from the last 2-3 years. So that was COVID, right? And I believe what happened was companies were hiring a lot of folks. They were hiring, saying people weren't qualified. That's not what I'm saying. Is that some companies overhired and things of that nature. And unfortunately, a lot of people were let go the last couple of years, right? Especially you hear a lot from the big tech companies. And I believe for some, what they posted on social media, the day in the life and things of that nature, they probably downplayed the work that you have to put in. Right. This is where some of you are gonna log off, right? Because the work part, right? So this is a part where people only show the good sides. So when you get to the bad, you have two options. It's fight or flight, right? And for some folks, flight might be the way, or some other flight might be the first option, right? And we know everybody has a different reason for different things, right? But this is mainly for the ones who are posting this, I should say, right? And maybe they didn't want that work anymore. For some people, they didn't want it. Maybe bad experiences, because everybody has a different place, right? Experiences different things, I should say. So that's that first reason, bad experiences, also not realizing that they really have to put in that work, right? Because you got to think about it. Sometimes when you're like a month into the role, for some companies, it's butterfly and rainbows. Oh man, this is relaxing and I work from home. Nobody's bothering me. You're mad excited because it's probably your first time and you're probably making the most money you ever have in your life, right? At this time. So you're like, it's chilling, it's great. And then life hits you at one point. Everybody has that point. I don't care who you are, what they portray online. Everyone has that point. And no matter what industry they're in, you're going to get it. But you get to that point where you're like, damn, I didn't know this was going to happen. Or I didn't know I was supposed to look out for this, right? So that's another reason. Sometimes people weren't prepared for us. That's why I prepare you guys. I talk about the real stuff some of you guys may not want to hear, right? Because some of you just want the butterflies and rainbows. But to be real, you're gonna be faced with both sides. Sometimes a lot of good, depending on where you're at. And it just depends. I cannot control that part. But what I can teach is how to look out for red flags. Because sometimes some of these companies had a red flag that we avoided, but it was because we were so blinded by that company or the money, because at the time it's probably gonna be more than you make in your life. So like, you know what, I could deal with the other stuff. Bring it.
Not only that, sometimes when you're new and you're just starting out, you don't know a red flag because you haven't had any of these experiences before. So you may discover something that it's become a red flag after you've already signed on with the company, right? So those red flags that he mentioned, yeah, those are legit ones, but there's that third one because you don't know what you don't know. Right? When you start these jobs, you don't have the experience. So a lot of times it's like you don't know what red flags to look for, right? So like he was saying, his job is to help his clients, the students that he coaches, recognize red flags ahead of time. And I'm the same way. I am here to be a resource for you guys that are new breaking into this field, because I have seen and I've experienced some things that now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I check that next time around. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, but I know it now. I'm gonna look at that a little bit closer next time around, right? So I'm definitely here as a resource for you guys so that you don't make some of the mistakes that I have made, right? So let's finish the video.
Get on. And then you really can't. You really weren't prepared for that. I'm gonna be real. Some of y'all not built like that. You can be, but you have to face it. You have to or know what you're going to face, right? That's what I do. I prepare you guys for that, right? So that's pretty much what happened. Either one, they figured out tech is not all sunshine and rainbows, right? They got hit with adversity. And sometimes that adversity, maybe there were more important things they could be doing, right? So they go attend to that, right? But what you need to do is just focus on your damn self. Right.
Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself.
That's the number one. That's how it's gonna solve all issues. Worry about your damn self. Have your vision goggles on. Look out for you. Same way these companies look out for themselves, same way other people look out for themselves. That's what you're gonna do for you in your career. Am I telling you to get over people? No, I'm telling you to do the right thing, but look out for you and your well-being and what you have to do for you and your family. Who cares what the world is doing and everybody else? This is what you're focused on. This is what you're going to get to. Put your head down and get to it and stop being so sidetracked.
All right, so I'm going to stop that video right there. And yeah, man, so just to give you my take on why the day in the life videos just kind of, really slowed down. And it really touches on the point that he made where he kind of touched on the fact that a lot of people got met with adversity and all of a sudden they just decided, they're not going to show that part, right? And so that's kind of what you'll see. And I agree with that. I think that is a lot of what happened. A lot of these people that were out there doing all these, fancy day in the life videos, life got the lifing on them. Things got really real. And there was probably a side that they did not want to showcase on social media. So what do? They vanished, right? That's exactly what I think happened. And yeah, you still got a few people out there that are still posting their day in the life videos, but it is nowhere near the amount that you used to see. And that is what happened, man. Life got the life in. They don't want you to see the bad and the ugly. They only want you to see the good, right? Because they want to be shown in their best light to the people that they're doing the content for. And I get it. It's hard to be out here, showing people the bad and the ugly, right? But this is life, right? Life is not good all the time, right? And don't get me wrong, it's totally their prerogative. You don't got to let people all in your business if you don't want to, right? At the same time, you got to be realistic, right? Like you said, it's not going to be all butterflies and rainbows. All right. Now that we're on the topic of day in the life videos, I want to touch on this young lady that is out in California. She actually moved from Vancouver, Canada, out to Los Angeles, California, and she works in tech, right? So she is a software engineer working in tech. I want to get into some of her content because I thought it was really, really interesting, the trials and tribulations that she's going through as she's now moved to a completely new city. You may have seen this video. It gained a ton of steam because of her situation, but I'm going to play it for those of you that may not have ever seen this video before. So let's get into it.
Hi, it's Hannah. Last September, I moved from Vancouver, Canada to California for my tech work. As I searched for a place to call home, the high cost of living hits me. What if I ditched traditional housing and live out of my car? Could it actually be a sustainable way of living? I never thought I would spend half a year living my Tesla, but now I'm ready to spill the tea and share what I've learned about myself along the way. I will show you how I have adapted to car living, the ups and downs of starting fresh and making friends, and juggling my engineer life at a tech company.
Me and Hela are about to leave. We're leaving this place. We're leaving Vancouver. I felt like if I keep staying in Canada for the next, 5-10 years, when I get older, I go to the US, go to Los Angeles to retire, I will feel differently than if I actually go now. So that's why I'm going now. So record today to remember my life in Canada. Goodbye, Vancouver. Hello, are you ready? We're going to leave now.
It was a long drive, but full of sunshine. After 50 hours, we arrived in Los Angeles. Once we got there, I began hunting for a place. I toured many places, apartments, houses, and shared rooms, but I couldn't find anything that suited my budget and needs.
Wow,
stopped by to tour apartment, a studio, tiny, maybe like 400 square foot. It's like 3,700. I saw the average pay here is like 80,000 before tax, right? So after tax, people can only have like maybe 4K for a month. How can people afford for a 4K apartment? It's too expensive. I'm not doing this. I'm gonna live in the city for free, okay?
Yeah, so this was kind of similar to our other girl that we had right out in Cali, and she's paying that 3K a month. So she's looking at a studio apartment. The other girl had a 2-bedroom apartment in the other video that I did recently. Go watch that one if you haven't. That one is titled "I Make $300,000 and I'm Still Struggling." Right. So that young lady was in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. She was paying $3,000 a month. Here it is, Hannah. She's looking at studio apartments in LA, $3,700 a month, right? And she's like, "How are y'all affording this?" And then what did she say? She said, "Look, I'm not even doing this. I'm gonna live in the city for free," right? So let's keep it moving.
I started leaving my car while still working at the office. The Los Angeles office is more like a satellite location, and it's empty most of the time. But there's also a dog park that Halo really enjoys. Our favorite activity every day is to get on the swing right by the park and enjoy the California sunshine. Life was pretty peaceful the entire month until I got caught in a rental scam. I don't know if LA is for me. It sounds like a joke that I only been here for a month and I'm quitting. I always tell myself that I need to keep a little bit longer. I choose to come here. I ask my work to send me here. But I don't know. I'm just so frustrated right now. I'm thinking maybe I should go to the San Fran office and try to see what's life there. Maybe it's really not for me. I don't know. We left Los Angeles that night and slept at a supercharger station on our way to Silicon Valley. When we got to the office, I couldn't believe how many people there were. It was completely different from Los Angeles. 5,000 people come here every day. Not to mention, the office offers a great selection of lunch for free. Stepping into this office felt like an instant energy boost for me. I thought, this is a city for me.
Some of that tech day in the life food, you saw it? Day in the life, company provided lunch.
My situation is a bit unique. I am the only one from my team based in California. Even though I come to the office here every day, I actually work with my team remotely. I see people here and there in the hallway, nodding hello, but I haven't made any friends yet. Most of the time, I eat lunch by myself. I tried mingling with other teams, but it hasn't really clicked. One time, I asked someone if I could join their group for lunch, and the person told me they were going as a team. This looks so pretty, this one. With all the different colors, green beans, red beets, red tomato, and cucumber, squash, and some grilled cod. This one is like bacon empanadas. Brian? Sorry? I see. Yeah, I saw someone over there, and he said he's going to sit with his team. One thing I found about this campus is like I feel everyone is a little bit how to say like
Cliquish.
prefer to stay within their bubbles. So sometimes I Every day I come to the office.
Yeah, so let me pause that right there before I get back into the video real quick. All right, so she moved from Vancouver to LA. She was really lonely in LA. She got caught up in a rental scam, which really just totally messed her up. And she probably lost money on that too, right? So she was like, screw it. I'm going to go to the San Francisco office and see if that shakes out better for me, because LA is not LA ain't it, right? So she drives to San Francisco and she notices, wow, this place is jumping. As people are coming here, is a lot busier, and there's people actually here. Totally different from what she was experiencing at the LA office, which was a satellite office, as she had said, right? So she gets there, and what do you see? You see all that typical day in the life of a tech worker stuff with the company lunches and everybody and everything. She's taking her dog into work and all that, right? But one of the things I took notice about is she was trying to make friends, right? And you notice how cliquish people were. Like, she's sitting at lunch, obviously by herself, right? And you've got probably teams of people having lunch together with their teams. And I don't know if this is something that came out of like COVID, or maybe it's something with this particular generation. But I'm the type of person where if I'm out, like we're in a work setting or whatever, a school setting or whatever, and it's that one person I notice they're always having lunch by themselves, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna talk to them. And then probably ultimately they'll either come and start having lunch with me and my people, or I'll just go start having lunch with them, because it was obvious she's always sitting by herself, right? But nah, they didn't do her like that. She even tried to ask, hey, can I come and have lunch with you guys? And they pretty much was like, nah, I'm going with my team, right? So I thought that was kind of crappy. And as she had said, those people at the San Francisco office, they're very cliquey. They're in their bubbles, and that's the way they were, man. They left a girl over there by herself eating her lunches all alone.
Stop trying to fit in. I felt like I can just be myself here. Every day I come to the office, work, and eat alone. Initially, I didn't feel anything, not happy or sad. But as time went by, I started to wonder, can I make friends here? How do people build friendships in an office where they are not actually working together? Do I really belong here?
Yeah, man, I'm just gonna stop that video right there. She has actually a new and growing channel. I'll definitely, like I said, I'll post the link to her channel as well. You can go watch that video again if you want, or follow her content as well. She seemed like a really sweet girl. She's just trying to figure it out, right? So I thought that was really interesting. So she's a software engineer for Microsoft. She's living in her Tesla out in San Francisco, right? So I think there's probably a lot more stories out there than we know about, where you have people that are working in tech, and for whatever reason, they're just living in their cars, or they're living in living situations that are not ideal, right? Interesting twist on a day in the life of a tech worker video. I'll just say that. So, man, I'm going to go into the next thing just to kind of get on a lighter note, because I was feeling sad for old Hannah. She seemed like a sweet girl, right? Share a little bit of comedy with you.
Okay, it is 5:15. Let me just send one more message to the team. Hey, what? It's 4 p.m.? Wow, this day just snuck up on me. Okay, let me just finish up this last email, and then maybe the wife and I can go get some dinner. I love this show.
So I thought that was funny. You saw how they did the Gen Zs, man. I'm telling you, that article we just looked at, the Gen Zs and the Millennials, they quiet vacationing on y'all. They're not having it. It's like, look, you're not going to run us into the ground. We're going to take our time off and enjoy our life, right? Okay. But yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. I hope you enjoyed the content, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Tech Job Tina out. Peace and blessings. Bye.
Why by yourself? Why by yourself?